the guy that comes in and writes the protocol for the remediation, you know? And a lot of these guys are guys that used to do what I did and then they retired. And they just don't want to crawl in crawl spaces anymore, so they go out and they tell you how much mold is in the house and if it's good or bad, you know? So it's not always as simple as taking an air test, because you can also take an air test. I've done tests in a room off of a crawl space where the levels are elevated, but then there's a door with dormers on it going into another room in the basement, and there's no mold in that room. So it makes no sense. Then I've done ones where it's a 3-story house and there's mold in the basement, but there's also mold in the master bedroom upstairs, the same type of mold. So it's not a one-size-fits-all, you know. If you got mold in one spot, it's all over the house, you know. And we'll get into that with chlorine dioxide in a little bit when I talk about that.
When you test the indoor and outdoor, you're looking for a species match. Is that what it is? Like if you have different inside, what does that mean?
Indoor versus outdoor.
Yeah, so it's you know, 15 years ago, that's what they were saying. You need to have the exact same types of mold inside as outside and no different. If there's anything different, then you got a problem. Nowadays, they've lessened the reins on that because they've started to develop indoor molds and outdoor molds. So you can have a mold in your home that isn't outside as long as it's considered to be an indoor mold. And the lab that we give the testing to will tell us what's an indoor mold and what's an outdoor mold, you know? So is it okay to have this mold in your house even though it's not outside? Yes, it is. The problem is that you got 3,000 spores, so it's elevated, so it has to be remediated. Even though it's
remediate outdoor mold?
If it's inside and elevated, yes, because you don't want to have too much. So even a mold that's not toxic, like an indoor mold that's common to be found indoors, Penicillium aspergillus is the most common mold. But I just did a test in a guy's basement and it's 6,000 spores and there was like 125 outside. You know, so he's got to get that taken care of. He's been saying he's been having symptoms and well, this is why, you know. So it's not a toxic mold. It is an indoor mold that's very common, but his levels are extremely elevated. The reason it's extremely elevated is he had water in the basement, and he has one part of his basement that's covered with sheetrock, and it got wet, and there's mold growing. So that's what, you know. So a lot of people think to themselves, all right, I got mold growing here, I'm just gonna cut it out and I'm gonna spray some bleach on it, you know, or I'm just gonna spray some bleach on it because that kills it because it takes the stain away. So bleach will only kill mold on a hard surface. It won't kill it on a porous material. So I do a lot of bathrooms where people have surface mold growing on the sheetrock, on the ceiling and on the walls by the shower from the humidity in the shower, you know? And they'll be like, well, I cleaned it 3 times, but it keeps coming. I killed it 3 times, but it keeps coming back. Well, if you killed it 1 time, it won't grow back, you know? Yes.
You're talking about bathrooms. What about when you get it on the
grout?
The grout,
Yeah.
or I mean, how do you get it off? I
So
mean, how do you treat that?
with the grout, it's not too much to be worried about because it's such a small amount, you know. But if you really, the easiest way to get that taken care of would just be to take the grout out and put new grout in, you know. I could come over and put something on it that's going to kill it and take it away, which is, you know, probably a little bit more expensive than doing it, you know, getting it regrouted. But what I do is I put a sealant on it. It's an encapsulant. It's a clear coat encapsulant, so it won't grow back, you know.